Hi everyone, this is Leslie, and it's been kind of a while, but I'm back working again on my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be talking to you about making one of these large stars. In a previous video I have shown you how to do these small stars, and I put this here just to show you a little comparison. So this is going to be a little bit larger. I've had a lot of questions about how to make a larger star, a larger double-sided open star. So I'm going to make one like this, and I'd love it if you'd follow along. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is materials. I've got two different colors of delicas, and actually I think on the second side I'll use another color of delicas so you can kind of see what I'm doing on the second side. I've got a couple of arm's lengths of Miyuki beading thread. You could also use KO, I like that also, and a number 10 beading needle. And then I've also got a couple of links of chain, which are what I use to make a little link, to make a little place to hang, like that. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is how you're going to think about this. This is basically 10 rows of beading. So what we have is row 1 is the row that's on the very inside of this, which will be the little tip on the inside of the star. And the last row is the row on the very outside. So basically you have a top row, a bottom row, and 4 rows in between on each side, and that's 10. So the first side will be 6 rows, and then we'll fill in with 4 rows on the reverse. That's kind of how to think about it. You can do more rows. If you did a 12-row star, it would be 7 rows on the first side and 5 rows on the second side, if that makes sense. So for this star, the way we're going to start is we're going to start with a circle of beads. I have made my circle of beads already. So you're going to put on 2 of whatever color. Make sure you can see that. 2 of whatever color is going to be for the points of the star. And then 9 of your main color, 2 and 9, and you're going to do 5 units of that for the 5 points of the star. So that's 55 beads total, 5 times 11, and make a circle like that. And you're going to be coming out between the 2 beads that will be your corner bead. I don't like to tie knots, so I just like to leave a tail, and then I hang on to the tail while I'm beading. I generally don't tie knots in my work unless it's absolutely necessary. So this ring is rows 1 and 2. So when we start beading, we're already starting on row 3. Hooray! So the first thing you're going to do is pick up 2 beads, and you're going to do a herringbone stitch. Can you see that? I want to make sure you can see this. You're going to put this bead directly into the next bead. So you're going to have 2 silver beads sitting on top of 2 of the previous 2 silver beads. You can kind of get it into shape like that. There. Ah! Like that. Okay? Don't worry too much about that. It will tighten up later. And then we've got 9 beads here. So you're going to start with peyote 1 in the regular way. Sorry, I put my finger over it to hold it in place. It's going to look like that. Peyote a second one. And then we're going to decrease, and that's going to make that little tip in the middle of the star. So you're going to skip one. Don't add a bead. Go over the center bead. This is the 5th bead out of 9. Go through the next bead and just pull it. And that's going to cinch it in a little bit. Like that. But don't worry about that. When we get to the end, we're going to pull it tight. The end of this unit. And then we're going to peyote again twice. 1 and 2. And then we're going to end up the first bead of the second tip. And when you pull it, it's going to sit like that. So you're going to have a little bit of a V shape starting with that decrease right there. Now we're going to repeat this. Let's try this again. 2 beads. You do them herringbone style. Put it directly in the next bead. There's 2 sitting on top of the other 2. And again, peyote 2. 1. 2. Okay, skip over the center bead again. And peyote 2 more. 1. And 2. Give it a little tug. Now we've got our second little V, the decrease in the middle. And for this, the rest of row 3, we're going to continue around like this. Again, 2 over 2, go on the very next bead. This is shaped peyote stitch. You can do increases and decreases to make a whole bunch of different shapes. Now, this is one of my interests. You see how I hold my finger over the bead that's going in? That means it will get placed just right. I don't like my thread flying around. See, I hold it where I want it to go. I'm going to skip that middle bead again. One more time. 1, no, just 1. And 2. All right. So do this. You're going to do this one more time here. And at the end, I'll come back at the end of this row to show you how to finish up this row and go on to the next one. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm putting in the last stitch on row 3. You can see I'm going to step up, so I'm going to go through those 2 silver beads at the corner. Give it a tug, and look, it's already forming into a star shape. Fantastic. Make sure those are sitting on top of the beads from before. Okay, now we're going on to row 4. So the corners are going to be the same. Got 2 silver beads. I'm putting them over the 2 in the previous row. Again, a herringbone stitch. Let's see what I just did. See that? I don't want to sit totally right, but that's okay. It's all going to work out. Okay, so now I've got 3 silvers there. Again, we're doing peyote. 2 regular peyote stitches. 1, 2. Now for this row, we're going to put, you've got that little gap that was created in the row before. We're going to put 1 bead in there. So basically we're going to be peyoting 5 each side. 5 peyote stitches. So see how that just pops right in there? It's going to make the shape of the star. And then another 2 peyote. And that's one side. Let's see that again. Pick up 2 silver, put them on the side. See how they're nicely stacked up? And then peyote, basically peyote 5. In the 5 spaces on this side. 1, 2. 3, 4, and 5. Once you get the first row put in, that is row 3, it gets a lot easier. You get your shape is kind of established, and then you'll kind of get going on it. So don't despair if it's looking wonky after the first row. I'm going to continue around like this, and I'll come back at the end of row 4 to show you how that ends and to get you started on row 5. Okay, I'm back for the end of row 4. I've got one more bead to put on, and then you're going to step up through 2 silver beads. Okay? That'll be the end of row 4. So look at that. It's starting to come together. All right, we see that? Okay, now we're on row 5. So for this row, again, our corners will be exactly the same. Pick up 2. Herringbone. Stack them on top of the 2 already on the corner that's established. Now, for this one, we're going to peyote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just put 1 in every space. 1, 2. You see there's a space between here and here. There. 4. 5. 6. So you'll notice that these 2 here in the center are kind of shoved together. Don't worry about that. We're going to decrease in the next row. So let's see that one more time. Again, 2 at the corner, herringbone, right down through the next bead. Stack them up at the corner. Okay. Peyote 1, 2, 3. I like to land a few beads and then pull the string once, pull the thread once, but that is not for everyone. So I just do it to save time. Here's the second side. 1, 2, 3. So that's how it's looking. So keep going in that way, and I'll come back at the end of row 5 to show you row 6, which is the last row on the first side. Okay, guys, I'm ready to lay in the last bead of row 5. I'm stepping up. Okay, there we go. What a beautiful star. It's coming along. Okay, so for the last row on this side, we're going to put points on the star. So instead of picking up 2, you can either pick up 1 or 3, whatever you like. I'm picking up 3 to give it a little point, but you could do 1. See how that makes a nice little point on the end? And this is going to be a decrease row. So we're going to do 6 again like we did in the last row. So you're going to peyote 1, 2, 3, and then go through the 2 in the middle from the previous row. Treat those as 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to put my little hanger on this one. So instead of 3 beads, I'm going to put 1 bead, a couple of links of chain or whatever hanger you're using, and another bead. Put that down so you'll see that'll give something to hang on. like that. So instead of that second bead, you have a little hanger instead. Okay, peyote 1, 2, 3, and go through the 2 beads in that center, decrease. 1, 2, 3. All right. Keep going around like this. And when we finish this row, we'll go down to do the second side, and I'll get some different colored beads so you can see the contrast. Okay, it's coming along. Okay guys, I'm back to finish up row 6 and talk to you about the second side. So here's my last bead going in. I'm just going to put it through 1. Now, I want to talk to you too. If you want to make a wider star, if you want to keep going with this, you can keep going with this. It's a 3-row repeat. So we just did the decrease row, and then for the next row you would put 1 bead here in the center, and then the row after that you'd put 2 beads, just like we did. So row basically 3, 4, and 5, you would repeat those rows until, and you could make this as wide as you would like to. And then whatever the last row is, you put in, you make your little point. You just keep putting 2 rows, 2 beads until it's as wide as you want. So you can continue with that. But for us, we're gonna go down to the center. So I'm gonna take this, my needle, and take it down to the center bead. I just went all through all of those. I'm gonna take it down to the center so we can do the second side. And you don't have to do a second side, but I find this very flimsy. So if you want to make an earring or a substantial pendant, it's nice to make a second side. And so what I've done is I've chosen 2 different color contrast beads. I'm going to use this dark one for the points and this light one for the body, so you can see a little better. I had some questions about that in my other video, so I'm going to use a different color to show you the second side. So basically on this side, we're going to be doing rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the first row where we're going to be laying in here is the mirror of row 2 on the first side. Now, row 2 on the first side was in that initial ring that we made, so we didn't really sew a row 2. So basically it's going to go like this. We're going to peyote around 1, 2, 3, 4. So watch this. 1. I'm hoping you can see this with this different color bead. 2. 3. 4. And when you get to that corner, you've got those 4 beads right there, you're going to pick up 2 of the corner bead, which in this, now on my second side, is going to be this dark bead. And then you're going to go through the next bead right there. It's the same herringbone stitch, it's just going to look a little differently. So see, that will sit on top. Those will sit on top. Let's look at that again. And again, we are mirroring row 2 on the first side. Stay. 1. 2. 3. 4. Pick up 2 corner beads. Go through the very next bead, so you're stacking them on top at the corner. All right. Even I have a little trouble sometimes stacking the beads up. There they go. They pop right into place. Okay, so keep going around like this, and I will show you, come back to show you the second row on the second side. I'll be back. Okay, here we are at the end of the first row on the second side. For my last 2 beads, I'm going to pick up 2, stack them, and then go through 2 beads to step up to the next row. Okay, only 3 more rows to go, guys. This is a pretty advanced project. So if you're not familiar with peyote stitch, this is not where I would start with peyote stitch. Okay, so for the second row on side 2, we're going to be echoing row 3 on the previous side, and that's a decrease row. So you're gonna, because we stepped up, we're one stitch different, we're 1 stitch advanced. It moves all the time. So we're going to decrease. We're going to put peyote 1 and then go through those 2 beads and cinch it a little bit. That's going to come in like that. Okay, this is probably the most confusing part of the whole thing. Then peyote 2 more. I'm going to show you again on the next section. It'll be a complete section. Okay, cinch that in a little bit. Okay, now pick up your 2 on the corner again, go through the previous 2, stack them on top of each other, herringbone, like that. Okay, let's see this again. Peyote 2, 1, and 2, and decrease. So go through the next bead without putting a bead in. That's what we did in row 3 on the first side. Okay, cinch it up a little bit. If there's a little thread showing between, it's totally fine. You won't see that when it's done. So again, peyote 2 to the corner. Cinch a little bit. See, it's starting to sit nice. Let's see that one more time. I'll do one more with you. Pick up 2, do the corner, stacking, 2 over 2, peyote 1, peyote 2, decrease, so skip over that center bead, go through the next peyote stitch bead, 1, 2, and cinch it in. Cinch it in a little bit. That's your decrease. Okay, so keep going around. You've got a couple more units to go here, and I'll be back to talk to you about the next row. Okay guys, we're finishing the second row of the second side. Since every time we step up, the ending shifts over a space, the end of this row will be kind of in the middle of the row now. But don't forget to step up. Look for that and step up. Okay? Okay, so the third row is going to be, on the third row on the second side is going to be the mirror of row 4 on the first side. So that's the row where we laid bead in the middle, and for this, since we're here, we're going to do that. We're basically going to skip 3 beads where we decreased and go in the next one. I'll do that a couple more times so you can see that on the next couple of units. So it's basically it's a total of peyoteing 5. So that was 3, 4, and 5. That one you start in the middle of the row. Okay, let's do our corner. The same. Lay in 2. Okay, going to peyote 2 in the regular way. 1, 2, middle one, we're going to just put 1 in there. So there should be 3 beads there. Skip over all of them. 3, and then 2 regular peyote stitches. 4 and 5. Do that one more time. 2 at the corner. Let them sit on top of each other. Okay. Peyote 1. Peyote 2. Do the one in the center. You're skipping over 3 beads. There we go. 4. 5. Okay, keep doing that. Now you'll go around and the end of the row is going to be over here. So you're going to lay one in and then step up over here. Okay, I'll be back to show you that. Okay, here we are at the end of row 3. So it's going to finish in the middle of a row. I mean, in the middle of a side. This row is finishing in the middle of a side, is what I mean to say. Okay, here it is. We're laying in the last one, and you're going to step up just like that. Okay? And guess what? We are getting ready to do the last row on this side. You're almost done. So this is the 4th row on the second side. This is the last row. So this is going to be a mirror of row 5 from the previous side. And you can kind of see, you can see the previous side, so you can kind of see what you're going to do. This is going to be peyoteing 6 around on each side. So on this first half side, you're going to do 3. Again, we'll continue with our 2 herringbone stitch on the tip. Okay, here's our first full side. Peyote 6, 1 in each space. One, 2, and 3. Go through that center bead. 4, 5, 6. All right, 2 more at the corner. Stack them up. Let's see, one more side on this. Peyote 6, 1, 2, 3, go through that center bead. 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so keep going around like that. This is developing nicely. The next row will be zipping. There won't be any beads. It's coming along. I will come back to show you that. Okay, I'm going to be laying in the last couple of beads. We're going to be finishing in the middle of a side. 1, and I'm just doing the last couple. This is 1, 2, and 3. Goes right in that little space right there, and then step up. Step up 1, and whoops, I only went through the one and two. There. Okay. Okay. Now, you can see that the first side has a little bead sticking up right there. So now we're going to start zipping. You're going to go through that bead from the other side. The first side, second side. You don't have to put in any more beads. This is called zipping it up. This is going to make it solid. If you're lucky, you can do two at a time. If not, just one. You go through these three corner beads, in this case two and a ring. And then just keep going. So you'll just keep going around with the bead sticking up and the bead down below. They're mated nicely like that. When you get to the middle of the row, you'll have two beads to go through. So go through those two beads in the center like that. And then just continue on, zipping them together. That's how the star becomes solid. When you get to the tip, make sure you go through those two at the tip on the second side. Then you'll go through the three. Like this. Okay, and that will mean you're done. I'll come back right at the end to show you the finished piece. Okay, so this is the finished piece. This has got colors on two different sizes. I think it's nice to have two different sizes star, or an earring and a pendant. And it's pretty solid. You can still bend it a little bit, but it does have flexibility. All right, thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I will try to answer. And happy beading. Thank you for watching.